This is Home Assistant Yellow. It's what I use in our home to control our smart home devices and run our home automations. It's been a great, easy plug and play way to get Home Assistant running in our house. But now that I'm up to about 300 devices and over 100 automations, I'm starting to run into a limitation of this. It only came with 2 gigabytes of RAM, and I'm hovering around 80% consumption of that RAM constantly. And I've even run into some stabilization issues of installing some media heavy add-ons. So it's time to upgrade this. So what I've done is I've ordered a Raspberry Compute Module 5, which is the newest version of the module that's in the Home Assistant Yellow. But this time I ordered it with 8 gigabytes of RAM, so 4 times the amount of RAM that I have on there now. The good news is that since this is an official product from Nabukasa, who maintains Home Assistant, they have very good documentation on how to update it. The bad news is, since I've never manually installed Home Assistant, I don't really know what I'm doing to update it. And this documentation requires manually installing Home Assistant on this Raspberry Pi Compute module. And I'm not a programmer either. So, I have some liquid courage. My smart home is at stake. Let's dive in and follow me as I upgrade my Home Assistant Yellow, and let's see how it goes. Got our required tools. It is 10:42 p.m. Let's see how long this takes. I got my guide from Nabukasa pulled up on the screen here, and let's go. All right, so we're gonna start by opening this. This part actually does not intimidate me. The whole disassembling this circuit board and taking the Raspberry Pi module out itself. I've built computers in the past, mainly home theater PC, way back in the day. So this part is somewhat familiar with opening the case up and getting this going. So that's easy enough. Let's put this somewhere safe here, like so. Actually, put these over in the case so they stay together. All right. Update. So we're gonna say remove the heatsink. Looks like, let's get this last piece, the bottom acrylic off. Come on. Is there anything holding this on, or is it just pressed in? I think it's just pressed in. There it goes. Okay, it's got some pins that line up in the board. Well, that was a jumper. From USB recovery, I think. I might have to go look at the board, the film for that. I think it came from the USB recovery jumper. Oh, let's put that there, because I think we use that in the future. I've kind of glanced through these instructions. Maybe we'll just leave that to the side for now. All right, so on mine, you can actually see I have made some upgrades to this since I bought it. I have my Zoo's Z-Wave GPIO module here, and I do have a 2 terabyte NVMe drive that I installed for external storage. That was one of the kind of recommended things to do as soon as you get a Home Assistant Yellow, and that was super easy to do. Both of these they were both pretty much open this up and plug and play. So first thing we're gonna do here is remove the heatsink, which is this black piece here. And it says we need to take our needle nose and pinch these 2 clips to push them back through the circuit board, like so. There's one. There's a second. And then this should lift off believe. Let's push those through more. There we go. Bam. All right. Easy enough. There's our thermal paste stickers there. All right. Step 2, remove the module itself. So ideally you pull up, but it's going to be tough to do. So it might require a little bit of force. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to kind of wiggle it back and forth here. There. Okay. That was actually easy enough. So these pins here are what line up to snap in to the main board itself. All right, so that's the old Compute Module 4 out. And now we're gonna put the new one in. So we're gonna get it out of here. Like so. So here's the Compute Module 5 compared to the Compute Module 4. So same footprint, just obviously some differences in the processor here and some of these other components. So now place the board in front of you, the red and blue buttons facing to the right. Yep. Raspberry Pi text needs to be on the right-hand side, like so. Carefully place the CM5 without force. It should fall into place when correctly aligned. Like so, which it did, yeah, that's not going anywhere. So it's kind of just set into place. And then we're gonna press it on the board until it clicks. Make sure you press on both sides, the two long edges. This requires a bit of force. If you don't hear a loud click, it's most likely not fully seated. It's reported that some boards don't click. It can still be correctly seated. All right, so let's see here. Okay, I wouldn't call that a loud click, but it just based on experience putting in processors and computer motherboards and stuff in the past, that does feel like it was seated down in there. Do a visual check to make sure the module is incorrectly installed. It needs to run parallel to the Home Assistant Yellow board. You can also pull a bit on the sides to make sure it's not loose. Yeah, that's not loose at all. All right, so that's the CM5 installed, easy enough. Now we're gonna place thermal pads. I'm gonna actually open up this new passive cooler that I got, and I'm gonna use it. The instructions say you can use the old cooler with the new Compute Module 5. I went ahead and had ordered this, although I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see here. Because it does say place a thermal square pad on the silver CPU, place the rectangular black. Push the 2 plastic pins in the dedicated hole in the heatsink. So this, what's interesting is this one has little pins. So they have the same footprint, but the one that came with the yellow has these 2 standoffs that the pins go through, and the one I bought does not. Does have screws. Yeah, with no instructions for this. So, the old one has 2 pieces of thermal paste. The new one has 3 that align with, looks like they align with the main module. And these are just, I believe. That is interesting. So this way, this way. It puts. That makes sense. I don't know why it doesn't line up these 2. It doesn't line up this one leaving. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use the old heatsink, but I'm gonna put new thermal paste on. I know from back in the day that always recommend using fresh thermal paste. Now, so we're gonna see if we can't get this off of here onto, yeah, okay, perfect. So we're gonna put that there. And the Home Assistant instructions, if I line it up how they have it oriented on here, is that we want one on this here. So we're gonna take this guy, peel it off of here, put that there. This third one, I don't know. There's only 2 in their pictures, so that's what we're roll with. And it only came to the 2 on the original. I'm going to go with Picasso's instructions. I'm going to take the old stuff off of here. Of course, it's going to come off in a bajillion pieces. There, that was better. Real professional here. Take a Kleenex, wipe this off. Good enough. All right, so now we're gonna snap this back into place. So we're gonna take this and orient it like so. And push the 2 plastic pins into the dedicated holes in the heatsink. Place the heatsink onto the module. Take the entire board off. Push the pins thoroughly through the board. Ooh. Bam. Okay. So just looking down it, I have good contact on the, what I guess is the CPU, but I don't know if you can see it, but I do not have good contact on the other chip that had the thermal paste on it. So I'm going to take this back off and put the thicker thermal paste onto it. Do the layer. Let's do that. Do that. That's that through. Okay. Of course, this up here. This should stay the same piece as the heat right now. That back onto there. And then this one is thicker. So let's get onto there. Like so. Let's take that. And let's go take that off. And yeah, covered. Okay. Line it up. Line it up. Press. Press. Bam. Bam. All right. All right, that looks better. We have no light this time between the chips and the heat sink. So I'm going to call that good. Although that one might still be a little too thick, but I think we're going to call that good. Okay, moving on. Step 5. No, that was it. Push the pins through. All right, so now we're on to the steps that make me nervous, which is the parts on the computer of running the rpiboot and actually flashing Home Assistant on this thing. All right. So, install rpiboot on computer. rpiboot is a command line utility for booting a Raspberry Pi in USB device mode. This is needed because it cannot boot from the USB 2.0 ports of the Yellow. Okay, I'm on a Mac, so I'm gonna go with the Mac OS instructions. Install from the source code. I've already opened this link here for Mac OS, okay. From a Mac OS machine, you can also run USB boot, just follow the same steps. Clone the repository. See, this is the nerdy shit that makes me nervous. What the hell does it mean by cloning the repository? Now it does say on the Home Assistant instructions, install it, but do not run it yet, exclamation point. So, I assume I can go through these steps, install, but do not do the build using make point. And there's the code down here. So clone the USB boot repository. Okay. It's not exactly as easy as downloading something. So let's see up here in code. Clone, okay. Which remote URL should I use? Sure. The place where this code is stored. Yeah, this just makes my eyes glaze over. Oh, it didn't open any time. So what does that do? Oops. Yeah, that does nothing. So that URL does is no good. All right, so let's try downloading the zip. That will end up in our downloads folder. USB boot master -zip. Okay. It's always comforting. It's the same as back here. Lovely. Okay. Run rpiboot and let it run through your Apple Silicon. Before running rpiboot, make sure you open the terminal using Rosetta compatibility mode. Okay. I have no idea what that means, so let's see. So Mac terminal, Rosetta compatibility mode. Compatibility mode. Run terminal on Rosetta compatibility mode on a Mac with Apple Silicon. You can duplicate the terminal application, rename it Terminal Rosetta, and then check the Open Using Rosetta box in the Get Info window. What the fuck? All right, I'm gonna have to do more digging on this and come back to it. We'll pause here. All right, well, I'm not sure we solved it, but let's figure it out. Everything online said to duplicate terminal. I don't even have that option to enable Rosetta. So I just went to Get Info, did Open Using Rosetta here. So that's how we're rolling. So let's go ahead and open this. We are back on this step. All right. We need to make sure jumper 1, oops, here's our little jumper, this other jumper. This jumper is set to USB, which is not, so we're gonna go like so. Okay. And then it is there by default. We'll Mine wasn't. Mine was at UART. So that's interesting. Plug in USB-C cable to Home Assistant Yellow and connect to your PC. Make sure it supports USB 2.0 data. Well, of course, in typical USB-C fashion. I don't know for sure that it does, but hey, let's find out, shall we? Let's plug that in here. Let's plug this in here. On the yellow board, press and hold the recovery button. Alternatively, older Home Assistant Yellow, which mine is, or did over the beginning, bridge JP2. So I'm going to use this bridge that fell out earlier. Bridge that guy there. And now we're going to plug it into power. I got my power supply. So I'm going to plug this guy over here. Okay, JP2 is bridged. Plug in the power. Only the red LED should be on. Yep. Okay, we're gonna allow this to connect here. Solid unblinking, release or unbridge JP2. Okay. Now we get to the fun part to see if this thing is gonna work. So, before running rpiboot, make sure you run the terminal using Rosetta compatibility mode. All right, so we're gonna install this thing here. All right, terminal. Let's make sure yep, it's okay. So we are in compatibility mode and we want to get our terminal over to our download directory where this is. So I'm gonna cd downloads / USB boot dash master, I believe is how you change the directory, which is cd. Okay. And let's see here. We want to so I've done the cd step. Brew install libusb. Oh, lovely. Lovely. All right. Now we're gonna have to go back and install Git. We're not gonna be able to download the fucking zip file. All right. Let's do that then, shall we? Dude, there, okay. Let's go. That looks all my old smart thing stuff. Create a new clone a repository from the internet. That's what, okay. Local path. USB boot. I'm gonna copy this once again. Hey, look at that. Okay, so you paste in terminal? I don't even know. Hey, guess so. I just all the tools, yeah. Sure. Holy shit. Oh my gosh. I think we're a little over an hour in so far. I think we started 10:45-ish. All right, software is installed. Let's get back at it, shall we? Let's try this again. Hey, that's looking better. I don't think any of that looks like errors. All right, so let's go with it. Next line. Where are we at? Here. Oops. Look. CD USB boot. CD USB boot. All right. Brew. Install libusb. Are you fucking kidding me? Homebrew is not installed, or the ZUSH shell is not set correctly. You need to restart your terminal. Homebrew is not installed. Well, that's probably true. I don't know what the fuck Homebrew is. Paste that in a Mac OS terminal or Linux shell prompt. Are you fucking kidding me? This is, boy, I'm glad I didn't have to do this the first damn time I installed Home Assistant. Tell you what. Okay, I don't want to be in USB boot. I just want to, how do I get out of it? Here we go. Yoink. Are you kidding me? Well, how the fuck do I enter the password? Oh, there's a package installer. I can do this shit. Let's try this real quick. Oh, hey, that worked. Continue or any other key to abort? Sure. Why not? Well, it dinged. All right. Lovely. Let's try this again, shall we? CD USB boot. Yep. Brew. Install libusb. Oh, hey, it didn't error right away this time, so that's good. Fetching libusb, downloading, 100%. Running. Oh, I guess it worked. No, there was an error. Okay, so let's try brew install pkg -config. Hey, more thinking without erroring. I like the beer emoji. That's nice. I know you can do emojis in terminal. Okay, now I'm not going to try to type this, so let's copy and paste this to here. I think we're at the point now where we're installing something. If you're running Rosetta compatible mode, if you're using Linux or Mac, use sudo to run the tool. Okay, so no, we're not at that yet. So we want to do that down here. Okay, so let's do this. I have no idea what any of this is doing. So hopefully we're gonna come out of this without our computer all fucked up. I think that worked. I don't know, there's no error. Okay, good. All right, so now we want to use this sudo the mass storage gadget 64. And then it says this yellow LED should start blinking. Please let that happen. Are you fucking kidding me? Password, my password. Sure, why not? Doop-a-doo. Hey! Sure, yeah, we want that. All right, our LED's was blinking green, now it's solid green. It's not yellow like, well, that's fun. The disk you attached was not readable by this computer. What now? Afterwards, only the green LED, okay. That's cool. All right, so we have a green LED. I'm going to ignore this because we have a green LED. Sure. All right, so now we move on to the next step, which actually has a installer package. Hopefully we're done with the freaking command line, so that's good. Raspberry Pi Imager, I've already downloaded that. So this guy. Install Raspberry Pi Image computer. Open it. Okay, I think this is it. Hey, sure. Yoink. Okay. Do I think, did that work? Oh, no. Okay, go away. The Raspberry Pi Imager. Hey, there it is. Okay, open Raspberry Pi Imager. Yep, are you sure you want to open it? Sure. You know, what else is going on here? All right, let's see. Under Raspberry Pi device, select Raspberry Pi 5. Choose device. Raspberry Pi 5. Select choose OS. Choose other specific purpose OS. Other general purpose OS. Yeah, that ain't it. Go back. Oh, you gotta scroll down. That's fun. Or specific purpose OS. Okay. Lord, choose Home Assistance and Home Automation. Did I scroll past it? Yep, sure did. Home Assistant. Hey, look at that. Choose Home Assistant OS 15. It says OS X.Y yellow. So okay, so 15.0 yellow. Okay. Select Choose Storage from the drop-down menu. Select your Raspberry Pi module. Which one is it? Multifunction USB device, 31 gigabytes. Ah, okay. So this is my external storage from the NVMe. So it's 2,000 gigabytes, which is 2 terabytes. So we don't want that. We want the onboard storage for the Pi. So we're going to choose that. Okay. And then select the next button to start the process. Yep. Oh shit, really? Yeah, sure. Here we go. All right. It's been written, you can now remove the SD, well, yeah, it's not an SD card, but yeah, sure. Continue. When the steps are complete, close the installer. Goodbye. All right, unplug the USB cable like so. Unplug the power cable. Yep. And set the JP1 jumper to UART. This guy here is going to go to that. UART matches that. And now we got to put this shit back together. This jumper, I'm not going to jump, but I'm just going to leave here so I have it like so. All right. Let's put it back together. Shall we? Let's do it. All right, the bottom. Holy crap. Okay. Oh shit, I just pressed a button. In which direction did this go? Little indentation there. Is everything lining up? I think so. Yep. Okay. Place the board in the bottom part of the case. Make sure USB connectors are facing upwards away from you. Yoink. We're assembling the top part. Turn the enclosure upside down. Okay. Then slide the push buttons into the openings of the case. Like so. Yep. Everything lining up, so that's good. Just gotta slide it. Slide it. Come on. This, come on. We're almost there. Just do something easy for me. Come on. Hi. All right, insert the thumb screws. Do not over tighten the screws. Okay. Now we just gotta plug it back in, plug it back in the Ethernet, power it up. Interestingly, I guess since everything is stored on NVMe, it looks like I should not need to restore from a backup or anything. I just plug it back into Ethernet and power and we're good to go. All right, see you on the flip side. All right, got some high quality production here. We will plug the Ethernet cord back in. So, and power back in. Like so. We have LEDs. I'm pretty sure those are the ones that were flashing last time, a solid red and a yellow heartbeat. And let's go back up to the computer, see if it boots up. All right, we got 99% of the way there, but we're 2 hours into upgrading my Home Assistant Yellow from the Raspberry Pi CM4 to CM5. Everything except for Zigbee and Thread is back online. I need to dig in. I've restarted it several times. There's a failed to connect secondary seems unresponsive error in the add-on for the Silicon Labs multi-protocol chip. We'll have to dig in for that. But for now, I can't use any of my Zigbee or Thread devices. So it's fun, but we'll get some sleep and come back at it tomorrow. All right, it is the day after my Home Assistant Yellow nuked all my Zigbee devices during the upgrade process to the CM5. I've had some coffee, I got a workout in at the gym. I tinkered around with it a little bit, and I'm happy to report all my Zigbee devices are back online now. So basically what I ended up doing was I went into the Silicon Labs multi-protocol add-on in Home Assistant, which is what controls the Zigbee/Thread chip in the Home Assistant Yellow. I reset all those settings back to default. And then I also shut down my Home Assistant Yellow, went and physically unplugged it, plugged it back in, and when it rebooted after that, everything came back online, and fingers crossed, everything's working again. So we're up and running. So was all this worth it? At the end of this, yes. So just checking my memory usage now, it's less than 20%. CPU usage, it was never a problem with the Pi CM4, but it's even lower with the CM5, which is to be expected. Would I recommend this to somebody that is not a developer like me? I use Home Assistant in an easy mode, I'd say. I think you could do it, but if you're going to follow Nabukasa's documentation to upgrade it, a couple things, especially if you're using a Mac like I am. One, go ahead and download the GitHub software on your computer. That way it's easier to clone that Pi USB repository on your computer. Also install Homebrew. That was something that was not specifically outlined in either of the documentations that I ended up needing. So go ahead and do that. Other than that, things, went along to plan. I'd say the novice in me, that probably added an hour to hour and a half of tinkering to the process. If it wasn't for that, the whole upgrade probably would have taken less than an hour, I'd say, to physically unbox it, take the old Pi out and put the new one in. So yeah, I'd say well worth it. I think you could do it with some time and a little research, not that big of a deal. So with all that out of the way, my home now hopefully sailing into the next several years of running smoothly, I'm not going to touch anything for a while. I'm going to let it run, get a good backup in, make sure things are stable. And with that, I'll see you later.